Morning, everyone. So I'm going to put the supplies again in the chat box for anyone that hasn't seen them yet. And what we'll be doing today is making journals. So a little bit different than what we've done in the past, but journals are a fun way for us to document our perspectives and our observations, our stories. Maybe you have like some music or some poems that you like to write in your journals. You can really do anything with a journal. So we're going to use some recycled materials around the house. I see some folks kind of in your screens already cutting up your cardboard, which is awesome. So I have some examples. So when we get, can everyone hear me? Yes? Yeah, good, good. Okay, I'm seeing some nods. So we want to make sure that we have a hard cover, right? Something that can protect our paper inside our journal. So you'll want to make sure you have something hard, some sort of cardboard. So this is like an old coffee box. And then the one that I'll be doing today is with a cereal box. So, and I think I see some other cardboard boxes in the images, which is perfect. So we'll want something hard, right? So you'll want something hard for your cover, whatever you want that to be. Maybe even you have an old planner or something that you'll want to just use the hard cover of that. You can do that too. So you'll assemble, you'll get your cover ready. And then you got to make sure that you have some sort of paper, right? Something to document all your awesome drawings or thoughts or things. And so in this example, I use some old planning paper. So I don't really care that it says the dates and the days on there because I'm going to just use this one every time I drink coffee. So I'll put this next to my coffee and I'll write down a daily thought kind of throughout. So you'll make sure that you have some scrap paper. I found some line paper for the one I'll be doing today. So I just have some line paper here. And I haven't decided how big I want my journal to be. So maybe I'll end up folding this paper in half, or maybe I'll use the paper in full, right? But you'll want something for your inside, the way for you to document your thoughts. So cover, some sort of cardboard, some sort of paper, right? Then maybe you'll want some old magazines, or maybe you have some photos or some cool things that say stuff on them, and that's where you can decorate, right? So you can decorate the side, so I kind of collage my back of my cover. You can decorate the inside, maybe you have some stickers or some stamps. You'll use that. And then what we'll go through is the binding piece. So on the back of this one, you can kind of see I folded it back because I used a stapler. But if you have a hole punch, it's going to be way easier because you could just hole punch right there. Use your yarn or your ribbon or your string and kind of weave it through, right? So there's lots of ways that you can make a journal. And so what we're going to do today is just get creative and make some journals ourselves. So I'll give everyone a minute to go grab any other supplies that you need. Maybe you need some markers, or maybe you need some glue, right? You have your glue stick, maybe you need some photos or something that you want to put on it. I have this handy dandy magazine from the Library of Congress, so I'm going to use some photos and things in here to collage. But maybe you want to go grab some stuff too. Maybe you have a recycling bin and you could find some hidden treasures in there. So I'll just give you all a minute to start kind of looking through the materials that you need to decorate these journals, right? You could just take a notebook and decorate that too if you don't want to go through the process of making your own journal. You could just take a notebook and then you could collage the cover too. Perfect. I hear some people are cutting out their cardboard. You might need some help with that. Same with stapling, but that comes at the very end. The binding part of your journal comes at the very end once you have everything else done. Oh, cool. You can totally make journals out of old books. That's really awesome. Use like cool book covers, right? We can repurpose really anything in our house. We can reuse things versus having to go and buy something brand new. So for the cereal box that I cut out, I just cut out the front and the back part, right? I kept this little line here on the cereal box, but you don't have to keep that. You could just cut them out completely too if you want. So as we kind of start getting our covers ready, what you all will want to do before you do the binding is you'll want to decorate your covers, the outside and the inside, before you do any of like your hole punching or your stapling. You want to make sure that you do your collage first because it'll make it way easier. I didn't do that on this one. And then I had to kind of fold back. It made it really hard to collage on the inside, and then I couldn't really collage the front. But on the back, I did it the opposite way. So I collaged the whole thing first, right? So collaging, you can use all different things. So you can cut out little words, you can find background photos, find cool little posters maybe that you want to use. And then I found this cool sticky note that I ended up using, and I had this cool sticker, some stamps, right? So you can kind of be really creative with those pieces. For your crafting journal, since this is special, right? You're making this all for yourself. Think about it how you want to use this journal. So maybe you want to use it as a reflection. You want to write every night, document your day, maybe share some highlights. Maybe you want to use it in the morning and you're writing maybe something that you want to make sure you do that day, or something positive that you want to think about, right? Us being at home, maybe it feels like kind of repetitive. Some of the stuff you all are doing each day might feel the same over and over. A journal is a great way to escape and share your thoughts and your stories, right? You can think, Josie added a really great one. We can think about journals as a way for historians in the future to understand what you're going through and your thoughts. That's one of the ways that we know how people were experiencing the past, right? We've read different journals or different diaries or letters that people have written, even songs and lyrics. Think about poems or artwork, right? You can put all of that in a journal. It's special to you, so whatever you want it to be. I found some funky paper that I put inside my journal. So I have these people at a pool, you know, and then I found this cool like paper on the back. So you can put those in there too if you want to insert little things. If folks have some questions since we're recording, just go ahead and put them in the chat and we'll make sure to answer those. So you'll be kind of collaging. I like it, using a planner, right? You can do all types of things with your journals. On Friday, Mike will be back and he is going to be doing a really fun cursive activity that maybe you'll want to put that in your journal. So we'll collage, right? We'll be making some stuff. And now I'm going to jump ahead, even though I know that you all are still kind of collaging and decorating your journals. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to do the binding. So when you get to that point, you'll know how to do it, right? So if you can kind of see on this one, I folded my cardboard back and I inserted my paper. So I put my two pieces of cardboard together and slid my paper on the inside. And then I folded everything back kind of like that. So then I could staple it down, and I did just a bunch of staples. You might need some help with this. Maybe you have a sibling or a parent nearby that can help you out. And then you can kind of collage, and I'll glue that back down. I just wanted to show you all kind of that cover, that binding part, right? So if you use a stapler, you can just staple it all the way down and really hold it. You staple your paper and your cover all together. So I'll kind of model it. But you can see my cardboard and my paper aren't even, right? So I might decide where I want to kind of cut that. So I might want this so sweet on the back of my cover. So I'll cut the paper kind of around that, right? I'll get it all framed and squared away, and then I'll cut it and do the binding. So I'll show that to you all. If anyone has like Mod Podge or some sort of coating that you want to put on your journal covers at the end, you can do that too. It's kind of a craft glue, so maybe your parents or someone has it. You could, to answer kind of the question, if your covers are too thick, you can use tape. You could try and staple your papers together to kind of hold them in there. You could maybe staple your papers and then glue your first page and your back page to the cover to kind of hold it. But so now I have my cover, right? So I have my cardboard now cut out to my paper. So I'm going to do that again for my next one. It's okay if you don't have Mod Podge. So now I have both of my covers cut to my paper, right? Construction paper could work. You could try that. Make it a little harder. And then you kind of just balance it. So now, right, everything's squared in line. And I have all my paper right here next to my covers. So this is easier for those that have thinner covers, but if you have a thicker cover, there's creative ways that you can do it as well. So again, if you had, say, like a hole punch, you could hole punch and weave it through. That's going to be really easy. But if you're like me who doesn't have a hole punch, you can staple. So I haven't collaged this one yet, but I'll show you all the stapling. So I just kind of take the cover and I staple down, just like you would think, right? You want to hold the covers and the papers together. I do it at a diagonal. You don't have to. So now I've kind of done a diagonal down, right? Kind of looks like stitches, I guess, right? So you're just stapling it all the way down. And now your paper stays. But this is what I was saying around if you do your binding before you decorate. Now it's kind of hard for me, right, to do the decorations on the inside because it's stuck, or maybe I'll fold it a little bit. So make sure that you want to decorate and, you know, do your collage before you start to do the binding. We just wanted to show you that piece. Then you got your fun paper on the inside and you can put some cool decorations on it. So I have this cool paper, good things are yet to come. So I can put that, you know, on my cover and decorate it that way. Then I have some other fun paper that maybe I'll put around it. I have some photos that maybe I'll want to put on my binder or on my journal, right? And some fun stickers.
Katie, I found one of my journals that a friend made for me some years ago. If you look at my screen, hopefully in gallery, you can see kind of the very fancy stitching that my friend used. That's kind of the traditional way of bookbinding. Obviously, you don't have to go this hardcore, but you can kind of get the idea, right, of like there's the holes along the side that she's then sewn together to hold it all together. Kind of like with a spiral notebook that you use, you know, for class, that kind of thing. That idea of you just got to put some holes in it to make sure that you can bind it all together at the spine.
Excellent. That's if you're using maybe an old planner cover or something like that, you might have the spiral. So you could attempt, you could try and do it. If you have a hole punch, it might be easier. But maybe if you have someone nearby who can help you with scissors, you could try and poke some holes in it or something. I know some people use rubber bands. Depending on the size of your journal, you could just take a bunch of rubber bands and do a similar binding to what Josie was showing, and then kind of take some hot glue and glue it down. So there's lots of options there, right? And it's kind of fun. If you make tinier journals or ones with less pages, then that means you get to make another one sooner, right? And the fun thing with collaging, I'm sure you all know this, is that you can do layers. You can add extra texture to it. Maybe you have some funky things nearby that you want to add to it, right? I can put this like weird mouth that I cut out, add that on top of my journal. So there's lots of options. But that is essentially journal making. On the inside of your journal, once you're done, once you've gotten everything assembled, you know, and you're ready to go, you're ready to write in it, I challenge you to write something on the inside. Set some sort of intention for yourself. Why would you want to have this journal, and what are you going to use it for, right? Maybe it's just a positive quote, some sort of saying that you just love. Maybe it is, you know, a picture or a drawing. Maybe it's song lyrics, something like that, right? Mine just says time to write, so maybe it's just a motivational thing. But you can think about that as kind of your entry into your writing, into your story. So that's all I have for you all for journal making, but then maybe some folks want to, once we're done with the recording, maybe some folks want to share what they've assembled so far, or if you have any questions or things that you want to highlight around your journal. I see some people are already done. That's awesome. You can have it just as a keepsake, definitely. You can staple your construction paper together without a cover, but just like Josie said, the cover kind of helps protect it, right? Helps keep it, so it doesn't just bend. Have you ever had just loose paper maybe in your backpack before? Mine always gets just wrinkled up.
That's great. Thanks, Katie.